What's up, people? I'm back. Um, yeah, this is a familiar. Hold on, let me take this off. This is a familiar background. You might remember it, but I was shit. Hold on. Anyway, but um, unfortunately, the area I normally do videos had to get construction a little bit, so that is why. And I felt like I took too many days off, so I'm gonna tonight. I was initially gonna be back over there, but then something happened, so I'm still here. But I'll be back over there tomorrow, so everything will be back to normal. So this is just a one-time thing because I felt like I can't keep putting off videos. So today I'm gonna do the videos I was supposed to do Wednesday and Thursday, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do the video I was supposed to do Friday, which is so right now I'm reviewing the first Expendables, and then right after this I will review and discuss Ash vs. Evil Dead all three seasons, and then next or not next video meant to say next video. Next video tomorrow I'll be reviewing Wayne's World. So I'll probably try to watch that either tonight or early tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, I'll review that tomorrow. And I might do another video tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, I kept putting off videos, so I figured I'll be back over. I'll just do videos over here the once. But Expendables. The Expendables came out in 2010. I remember seeing that first trailer, or one of the early trailers, and they played like Paradise City, and I was just hyped because you had Stallone, you had granted Schwarzenegger really didn't do a lot in this one, but yeah, Schwarzenegger, you had Willis, you had like Jason Statham, who was like pretty much a big action star in the early to mid odds. You had Jet Li, you had Dolph Lundgren, Terry Crews. I mean, granted, he's not an action star, but he was big for his side. I thought he was a fucking great character. And then Brandon Couture, because yeah, he may not be an actor, but he's like, this guy's an MMA fighter. He actually looks like he legit could kick your ass, so it works. And I unfortunately did not watch it in theaters. I don't remember why. I think it was because at the time when it came out, I think something came up, and I just never ended up watching it in theaters. But I ended up watching it a few months later, and I remember just loving it. Yeah, it's not like I remember for a while it being like probably the best action movie of that era in the 2010s until John Wick and The Raid came in. But I would still say this is like third. I think this is a fun one. The dynamic between them, all of them, like even like Hail Caesar and Toll Road, who are more like they don't have like really an arc in this movie. The only characters that really have an arc is Barney, which is Sylvester's character, and Lee Christmas. They're probably the only two characters I would say that got a whole arc. To an extent, Jensen, but it was more of like a slight villain arc. But I all around really love this movie. The action is fucking intense, man. Like some of those kill scenes, it's just like holy shit. Because it's been a few years since I've watched at least the first ones. I think the last one I remember watching was two. So, but I remember really like rewatching this one, like holy shit, dude, the violence is fucking crazy in this one. Like even like the basketball scene where he confronts the guy who was hitting you, basically who his girlfriend cheated on him with, but then he beat on her, and yeah, he beat his ass. That whole fight scene was fucking clean. Like it, but yeah, like all around, I think one of the best things about this movie. Sorry about the goddamn planes. Is the fucking dynamic between the team. I really like the scene. Granted, it's in the end, but when they're at the bar and just talking, even like Mickey Rourke's character, that scene where he was talking to Barney is like, oh my god, that monologue is great. Like I all around really like. And Monroe was like he felt like an old school Eric Roberts. I think is the actor who plays him. He played it so good. You wanted him to get his. Like every fucking. I remember watching this the first time, being like, man, I want this motherfucker to get his. Even Stone Cold is. I don't remember his first name, but Payne. He was a fucking great bad guy. He had some really good fights with Barney, and then like the fight in the end with Toll Road. Sorry, I fucked that up. But yeah, like all around, just a really good movie. Simple plot. They're basically essentially assassins, but they get hired by Mr. Church, which is Bruce Willis, to do a mission. Barney and Lee scout it out, and this is where we meet Sandra, who's essentially like the love interest. But I like they still knew how to like do love interests back then, and they didn't make it like the whole plot. He's trying to get her. Like you could tell, like it's there, but they don't force it. So he ends up going back, and basically he goes with the team, and Monroe, who's an ex CIA guy, is the one who actually runs this country. And Garza, I think, is the name of the villain. The second, he's like he's not. He is a villain, but he's not really, because there's a scene where he turns on Monroe, but Monroe kills him. But and that the scene where they invade the compound is really fucking good. I really love it. Like, had a really dope third act. And I'm happy this started a franchise, because I really liked Expendables 2. Granted, I didn't see 3, so I'm going to be watching that for the first time. Not this week, but the week after. So we'll see. But I really dug the first Expendables. If I were to give this one out of 10, like a 9, I really think the soundtrack was fun. It was a fun movie. It had perfect pacing. The dynamic between the team is great. Yeah, not every character got development, but that's fine. I think I look at it like this film is supposed to be like an homage to like old school action films of the 80s and 90s. And then, you had a little bit of that odds action with like some of the characters, but I really do like the simplicity of it. So Expendables. But before we kick it off, do it like I normally do. So the Expendables opens up. Somali pirates take over a bunch of hostages, and the Expendables come and save. And I actually really love this opening scene, man. It gets going pretty quick, Like, so I gotta give it to them. And like the action scenes are really well done. The fight scenes, it's not like as clean as like, let's say, John Wick or The Raid, but it doesn't have to be, because let's be honest, like the action films of the 80s, yeah, Jet Li, you're gonna always get fucking heat in terms of fight scenes, but aside from like those, I think the fight scenes in this were more simpler, especially with Payne and Ross. When they fought, it was very much just a brawl. It wasn't about trying to be clean and finesse, and that's fine. I don't think every fight scene always has to be clean and finesse. I think sometimes, because it also does add to the realism to it. Not because, let's be honest, most people don't fight with finesse. Let's be fucking honest here. So I think I like, in the 80s, a lot of those 80s action movies, the fights weren't that finesse. Sometimes they were, but like not all the time. Sometimes it's just very much just punch, kick. So, but the opening scene was awesome. The kill scenes, and one of the pirates takes someone hostage. They get killed by a Barney and Christmas, he's a blades expert. I like their dynamic, man. Throughout these films, granted I haven't watched third, but 1 and 2, the dynamic between Christmas and Ross is so good, because Ross is like really good with guns, and Lee is like really good with knives. I really like their dynamic together. Like even just like, because they want to, like, they're competitive against each other to see like, oh, would a blade be quicker than a bullet? But Gunner wants to hang one of the pirates, but Yang's not for that, because they think that that's too fucked up. Then we get a kind of like a really quick fight between Yang and Jensen, and honestly, it was like a 50-second fight, I think, or something like that. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool, and I liked their little rivalry they had throughout this movie. It was perfect. You could tell, because Yang didn't like how Jensen did things. He didn't like, no, dude, we're mercenaries, but we're not going to go that fucking far. So, but Ross puts a stop to it and basically says, no, we don't work that way. And he ends up having to let go of Jensen, which is kind of sad, because I do like Dolph Lundgren in this role. God fucking damn his fucking leg. Sorry. But anyway, um, so yeah, he ends up getting let go. But like just like the scenes where like even just like the down scenes where you get a little bit of the dynamic with the team. We meet Mickey Rourke. I thought he was fucking great in this movie, even though he has more of a smaller role in this one. I think he comes back in two. It's been a little bit since I've watched it, but I really like him in this movie. The one scene which I'll get to. So, because that's like basically like the Expendables like headquarters essentially. Like those scenes are fucking awesome. You get one like that when they get back, and then you get um, one later, in the end. But I really like those scenes. So Lee goes home to go see his girlfriend, and this is where he finds out she's cheating on him. Um, and he kind of breaks up with her. Then Ross meets with Church and Trench. That's Arnold's character. That was one of the scenes I remember they played in the trailer, just being hyped. Oh my god, you have Bruce Willis, you have Schwarzenegger, Stallone, all in one scene. Yeah, Schwarzenegger didn't really do much in this one, which is fine, because I think his character wouldn't have really fit him if he came later. He comes in the second one, and I really like him in the second one. Same with Church. Church actually has a big role in the second one. So I'm fine with him just in this one, just have more of a smaller role. Basically gives Ross the mission. You got to kill Garza, who's like the head of this country. Mainly him and Monroe. Basically, has to kill them. So him and Ross and Christmas decide to do a scout mission. So it's just them two. I don't want to look, but it's some like look, because I if I'm gonna do reviews, I gotta be fucking accurate. Um, Sorry about this, but so they take the mission there. This is where they meet Sandra, who I actually like her character. Um, Granted, we didn't know. We get the reveal later that she's the daughter of the head of the dictator, Garza. So they kind of do a few scouting around while Statham does his own thing in Valena. So the country is Valena. Sorry, I just had to look that up. So, um, uh, Sandra and Ross get confronted by Valena soldiers, and while this happens, Christmas comes back and takes him out. We get a really dope action scene, and the action pretty much picks up from here. Still, Ross goes to this, I think it's like a police station, and starts just capping a bunch of people. And then, because he's trying to get to his plane, which is going to be like a staple throughout these movies, is that plane. Um, so they manage, Ross and Christmas manage to evade, but then they come back and shoot at the pier, take out a bunch of stuff. They bomb a few things and leave. And that was a fun action sequence. Like the action in this movie is done really well, and actually looks really good, and it ages well for a movie that came out 2010, so about 12 years ago now. Pretty good. But then Valena gets captured. Not Valena. Sandra gets captured and is waterboarded because basically she helped work with them. And Garza, who's her father, doesn't, because he's basically a figurehead, but he's not the actual leader. Jensen approaches Monroe about a job because he got let go of the Expendables, and I actually really like this arc. I really thought it was interesting to go from this guy who he was an expendable, but he got let go, and he decides, I'm going to go on the other side, see where it goes, and basically gives them information. Then we get the probably one of my favorite action scenes just ever. Christmas goes back to see his girlfriend, sees that she has Lacey as the girl's name. She gets she notices like a bruise on her eye. He confronts the guy who's playing basketball with her. Guy's like, talk shit. and then he basically gets him and his friends get fucking wrecked. It was a fucking dope action scene. Probably one of my favorite action scenes. Like it's very clean how it's shot. It's realistic. Like, well, because Statham's like trained, so it's like he's just like the one. There's like this one guy he tries to run at him, and he like just like wrestling clotheslines him. It's fucking great. And then he like takes the guy out, and then puts the ball on his chest and like stabs it to basically let him know this will be your fucking balls. And then drives off with his girlfriend. It was a fucking dope fucking fight scene. It was awesome. I wish I saw that in theaters, but it is what it is. But it was a fun. It was a Jason Statham is just always great. I'm definitely down the line gonna eventually review his movies, like stuff like because I really like I love the Transporter movies. I think the three that I remember. Then Crank. What's what I was thinking. Crank. That was another one I actually really like. Death Race. So somewhere down the line, I'll definitely get to Jason Statham stuff. But so Ross and the team discover information about Church that he's a CIA operative, and that Garza's the figurehead. So they realize they're kind of being played, because the CIA wants them to kill they don't want the information out there. Tool. This is probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie. That's like not an action scene. Ross talks to his tattoo friend Tool, which is Mickey Rourke's character. And Tool basically tells him a story about how he confessed about letting a woman commit suicide, and it's one of my favorite. Like the whole way he delivers it is fucking chilling, but it's also really good because it convinces Ross like, yeah, we're gonna go back, and like that's a simplicity of it. Yeah, you could tell he loves this woman or likes this woman, but they don't like force it like how a lot of modern movies. And granted, this movie is somewhat modern. I would consider it still. But they didn't go overboard with that. It was natural. Because they also do it in a way where it's like you can still just be like, yeah, it might just be the right thing to do. So after that, he convinces Yang to accompany him, but Jensen and some people attack them. Then we get another fight scene between Yang and Jensen, and actually, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the second fight. It was drawn out. It was realistic. Jet Li, yeah, while he is a trained fighter, you got to keep in mind, Dolph Lundgren is still a big dude. So they do take that into account. So I like the more realistic. Like, yeah, Yang does get some good shots in, but they do make it believable. Yeah, Jensen's going to deliver some bombs on him because he is a bigger dude. Like, and he's also trained too. So it's like, and I thought the fight was like really well done. Jensen has him down for the count. Ross ends up shooting him near his heart, but doesn't like kill him. And then this is where we kind of get Gunner's redemption story, which I can understand if some would feel like, okay, that's a little quick. Like, also, why would you take him back? This dude like revealed your location, try to kill you. I can understand that argument, but I actually thought it works for this movie. It's not, because you gotta understand, they probably felt like they don't want to spend the next movie if they had a next movie planned at this point. And I thought it was fine. Like these guys were friends long time, and maybe Ross also is like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have let you go like that. And yeah, so it's just, I look at it like it works. It didn't bother me. So Barney ends up convincing Gunner to tell him the location of Garza and Monroe. And he does, and it basically gives him the layout of the base. Then when they go to the hangar, the team's already there. I love that shit, man. When they get there, they're already there. It's so fucking cool. I'm definitely hyped for the fourth film. This aside, really quick. I'm interested to see what they do with the fourth film. So, yeah. But yeah, they get there, and then they head for Elena and Garza's compound. They arrive there in public. The whole this whole action sequence, it really just picks up from here. Like they just start taking people out. Um, and this is where Garza gives like this speech, basically turns on Monroe. Um, while the team starts just planting explosives, taking people out. Ross manages to find Sandra before. I'm assuming she was about to get tortured some more. Um, they run out. Basically tells her to run off, and I think she ends up then getting captured again by either Payne or it was by Monroe. Based, I'll just say Payne because it's gonna be Monroe anyway. Um, but the team takes some people out before Payne and his people arrive and basically capture Ross and his team. Payne gives like a Stone Cold really did a good job in this movie, to be honest. He was an awesome villain. And I kind of would not mind if they had him play a villain again. I think this is the only movie I remember where he played. No, never mind. He was a villain technically in Longest Yard, but like in like a serious villain role like this again, because he fucking killed it, man. Him and Monroe, you wanted them to get theirs, and so yeah. Hail Caesar, which is Terry Crews, he was fucking awesome in this movie. He's awesome in the second one too. Um, shows up and basically, with the cavalry, starts taking people out, causing a distraction. Barney fights with Payne. It was a really well done fight. Like, it is realistic. It was a brawl. Like, yeah, they're not, like, they're trained, but they're not going to be, like, fighting, like, Jet Yang, which is Jet Li's character in this. They're going to just more brawl, So they manage to brawl, but Payne manages to get away. The team kind of recuperate, and they start invading more of the compound. We get like a big outside fight scene. Yeah, we get a big outside fight scene. They start taking out more of his troops. Garza confronts Monroe about his money, but Monroe kills him. Him and Sandra, because he kidnapped Sandra, try to run off while Payne fights Toll Road, and that was a really awesome fight. Toll Road ends up pushing Payne into some fire, and basically he burns to death. It's pretty violent. The kills in this movie, man. So they keep Caesar blows up Monroe's chopper, like escape chopper, and Monroe and Sandra try to run off. Ross manages to catch up to them, and gets shot by Monroe. And Monroe, does the villain diatribe. Then Ross pulls out his gun and starts shooting him, and then fucking from behind, fucking Christmas stabs him with that big ass fucking knife. Like, it was like punctures through, and I'm like, God damn. Like, I'm just like, that is like, I miss villain deaths like that. Like, I miss villains like that. Like, villains like you wanted them to get theirs. I'm not against villains that you think are cool. To an extent, I think like Michael Myers and villains like that are cool. But I do kind of miss villains where you like, God, I want them to fucking get theirs when they die, and then man, he got his. Then Ross gives his money that he gets from the mission to Sandra to basically fix up the country, fix up Elena. Then they go back home, and this scene when they get back is so fun. It's just them at the at their bar at Tool's. I think it's like a bar / tattoo shop. Like just the team dynamic. Jensen is back on the team, and and then we get a little poetry from Christmas, because Christmas basically they're betting like if he can do a super long knife throw, and it's like it was a fun scene, man. And I remember watching this, like thinking, yeah, I would love a sequel, which I'm happy we did get. So, and then he throws a bullseye, and then the movie kind of ends with them riding off in their motorcycles while the credits play. This movie is fucking great, man. It's a fun action movie. It knows what it is. I think the story's really good. Well, for like these type of movies, I really think Eric Roberts killed it as the villain, man. You really wanted him to get fucking. He played such a good asshole, man. Every scene. Garza was okay. He was, because he's like a figurehead. He wasn't like the main villain. Stone Cold killed it as Pain. If I had to say like VIP in terms of performance, it might be Eric Roberts. He killed it as the villain, man. I really wanted it. When, for me, like a good villain like ranking is, if you want me to, if I fucking want you to fucking get you to get killed, like, and as a villain, like get yours story wise, not just because I don't like you for other reasons. If it's just because, my God, you're so good, you killed it as the villain. Yeah, I think he did a really good job. I love the dynamic of the Expendables as a team. Those are like some of my favorite moments of the movie. That's not like action related. The scene between Tool and Barney was really good. Like, so it was. I gotta give it. Mickey Rourke is such a good actor. And side point, it's really sad how Marvel wasted him in Iron Man 2, because he's such a good actor. And this was like a year after he did The Wrestler, and he was really good in that. And I really thought he was really good in this, at least in this scene. Granted, it's like he's more of a minor character in this movie, but he does a really good job for the scenes he takes up. And the fight scenes are great. It knows what it is, so I definitely recommend the Expendables. At least the first one. I'm definitely gonna recommend the second one. I do remember really liking it, but it's been a bit since I've watched it, so I'm gonna review that one this coming Wednesday. So, but other than that, later I'm not gonna do the outro just because I'm doing a video right after this, so I'm just not gonna do the outro. But after this, I'm going to review and discuss Ash vs. Evil Dead. I figure it makes sense to talk about it since I've already reviewed the other films, and it's a continuation of the story anyway, so yeah. I'm not going to do every episode, though. I'm just going to probably just talk about the overview of the seasons. But yeah. But other than that, guys, I'll talk to y'all here in a second. Peace.